Hello.
Hello.
I'm traumatized.
And I'm medicated, but clearly either too much or not quite enough.
And that's Eurovision, baby. Ooh. Anyway, for those of you who don't know, I'm Callum.
I'm Nick.
That's Nick. Some of you may just be tuning in because the grand final of the Eurovision Song Contest was the first time you interacted with Eurovision and you typed it in and you saw us and you said hi.
Hiya.
But we had a huge party yesterday. It wasn't that huge, but we had a nice party yesterday. We had all our friends over.
Yeah.
We watched the live grand final of Eurovision 2025. And
we just thought that the best way for us to recover from a big day on the Fuego fireballs would be to sit down and have a little yap with all of you.
Yes, we usually try to deliver our reactions a little bit more in a timely manner, but I think the combination of 8 straight hours of drinking and everything that went on just meant that we needed 24 hours to sort of settle and come back in. But don't worry, guys, we're here and we're going to be talking all things grand finale. So should we start by congratulating our winner of Eurovision 2025? Obviously, spoiler, if you haven't watched it, what are you doing?
Woo!
But massive congratulations to Austria, JJ with Wasted Love.
Oh no, I thought that was the applause button. That's okay. Just pretend that was clapping.
I was like, can I sing Wasted Love over this? And then I realized I couldn't do
Wasted
that.
Love, the funk cut.
Yeah, exactly.
Love that.
Massive congratulations to Austria. 10 years ago, actually, Eurovision was in Vienna. So it's been 11 years since they won with Conchita. Conchita was in the crowd crying.
Woo!
Loved that JJ thanked his Beauty Blender crew as well.
The Beauty Blender, the absolute gang.
If there's one beautiful thing to come out this Eurovision season, it is the emergence of the Beauty Blender squad.
Yeah.
They have really lifted my spirits and made me realize it's more about the journey than the destination sometimes.
Exactly.
Hey? Because I guess with all the joy we're feeling about Austria, I think we are sharing some of the sentiments that a lot of you at home are, which is that it's hard not to feel slightly affected by what happened this year and that split screen that we saw between Austria and our runners-up. Nick, I think we're going to have to do it. We're going to address the Israel of it all.
Yep.
I guess I'll quickly just start off by saying, what's the point in having a competition if a country can just willfully exploit a televote and get extremely high points regardless of what the song is like? I think it makes half of the voting redundant. And I think that we've now had 2 straight years in a row where that's happened. Yeah. And I don't like it.
No. Look, to be frank, while Israel continues to participate in Eurovision, it is going to continue to be a disreputable competition.
Yes.
It is no longer fair, merit-based appraisals of songs. It is just based on one delegation having rabid fans around the world who are willing to have 5 credit cards and vote in 5 different countries worth of delegations.
They're voting aggressively, they're voting strategically, and they're voting unethically.
And they're bragging about it online.
And bragging about it online. Yeah. And so I just want to quickly say, these feelings aren't new to this year. Yeah. We felt like this since last year. We felt very strongly against their participation since, like the rest of the world, events happening post-October 2023 started to come out. So I'll just say this very quickly, very succinctly, and I'm never going to bring them up again. I don't support genocide. I do not support Israel's participation in this contest and the noise and the controversy that they will continue to bring if they are allowed in. And unfollow us if you don't agree.
Yeah, because honestly, we really don't have that many subscribers.
Yeah, nah.
We love the ones that we do have.
We do.
But if you don't want to be here because you don't agree with this view,
irrationally angry,
please leave. Because we just
already got called names on our ranking video for not including Israel. I'm sure we'll hear the same 3 insults that they use all the time again. We've heard it before. Just save your energy, save ours. The door's there. But for those of you who also agreed with us and share our trauma, just know that we feel very strongly about that. And I think now it's best to put that behind us and move on to the much, much better news of the night. So, Nick, let's break down the winning performance, JJ. What did you think watching it? We've obviously seen him in the same final and the grand final now. Can you give us a bit of a contrast between the two?
I think that I mean, if you're going to turn up anywhere, turn up in the grand final.
Exactly,
and
yes.
I think that this performance, felt a lot more natural and a lot better. I thought it was a really the stage really well.
His vocals were always impeccable, right? Yeah. We never were worried about that. I don't know if it's just because we had the volume up a stupid level.
Sorry to the neighbors.
The song also just felt so much more impactful in that grand final, and the path to victory became really clear after we watched it.
Yeah. I think it very much became one of those things where it was almost a bit of an inevitability watching those jury points come in.
Yes.
Not that there was ever really much doubt, but I think after watching the quality of the performance that we were given, hats off to JJ. Absolutely incredible. And
much deserved win.
Yeah, to be able to hit those notes while sobbing over the trophy on stage after they made him come back up.
And freaking out over the confetti rain.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, honestly, even better. Even better.
Our third queer winner in a row as well, which is really cool to see. Apparently the first ever Eurovision winner of Asian descent. JJ being Filipino, of course. Filipino-Austrian.
Yeah.
So some incredible records being held. Yeah. I love what he represents. And I think, just going next door, Switzerland just keeping in the Alps, going to Austria next year.
Very convenient.
Very convenient for the organisers. Yeah. Just put Lumo in the back of a truck and drive him across the Alps. It's fine.
Put Lumo in the back of the truck and take him to the slaughterhouse because that thing needs to be put out to pasture. Whoever's doing the designing, please take notes. That was fucking disturbing. Don't do it again.
I want next year's mascot to be just a mountain, but with those emoji eyes and like lips on it, and it's just like full beat like.
I want like full lashes. Like I want lash extensions. I want like a full red lip, like overdrawn.
Yeah.
I want them to put lips on the mountain, but then I still want them to go further with the painted
overdrawn lips on the mountain.
Oh, I want a drag mountain.
I want cunty mountain.
I want a drag mountain, and I'm sick of spending my time asking for it.
Come on, Austria, make it happen. 2026, make it happen.
Conchita will help you.
Exactly.
Conchita will love that.
Speaking of winners, there might be another winner in the midst. Yes,
of course. Because so as you all know, we have had a little bit of a fun party at ours for Eurovision this year, and the defining, I think, global voting spectacular that is Eurovision was brought to our very living room.
Yes. Should we show it off? Can you see this on camera?
This is Democracy Manifest.
Look at this. This is Democracy Manifest at its finest.
So what you are seeing here that is reflecting kind of oddly in the light.
I can hold it.
Yeah, perfect. You are looking at a homemade Eurovision scoreboard that Callum and I managed to jimmy together and print out on the work printer. Thank you so much. What we have done is we've allowed our lovely guests, after watching all of the songs being performed, to have their say.
Sorry. It's very hard to put down.
It's very hard to put down.
Okay.
So basically we allowed everyone to do their 12, 10 and 8 points.
So we had a gold sticker, a silver sticker and a bronze sticker. You gave your 12 points to your favourite, your 10 to your second favourite, your 8 to your third favourite. It was very easy.
And Callum.
Yes.
I can
deliver our top 3.
Yeah. We're rewriting history right now in front of you.
So you're going to be shocked at these results, guys. We were.
We were very shocked, but they're very fun.
So in third place, the Callum and Nick House Party room voted for Sweden. So Sweden was our third place, which is very similar to the televote, to be fair.
Exactly.
Then we had a tie for second place.
Now tell me about that.
So in second place, we had Germany, Argentina. The way I'll tell you right now, the club vibes infected that room. Yeah. People were dancing. People were into it.
There was a bit of doof.
It actually has the most amount of gold stars next to it. So it got the most 12 points of any song this year. People loved it. People love a doof. Yeah. And then also tying for second place was our winner this year. The Eurovision winner this year, Austria, JJ.
Congratulations.
And then in first place, to the shock of us, didn't necessarily win it on the merit of having all the 12 points, but seemed to win the room over and got the most amount of stickers next to the name. It was Carl Alessandro of Norway with Lighter.
So congratulations to the real and true winner of Eurovision 2025 as decided by the roughly 10 to 15 people in our apartment.
Look, Lighter went off opening. I think people's spirits were high. I think it got the room in the right energy.
They hadn't been beaten down by the cocktails yet.
Exactly. They could remember they were. And I think he what a way to start too. Like he delivered some fantastic choreo. Yeah. So like good on him. Good on you, Carl. You won our ranking.
Exactly. And you won all of our hearts.
Exactly.
And the hearts of our friends and loved ones. So congratulations.
Let's also talk about another highlight for us, our personal highlight. If you have been following our channel through this Eurovision preseason, you know that Nick and I have been Latvia's loudest fans in the room. If no one else was cheering for them, we were, which did happen at the Brisbane Eurovision party.
Exactly.
We were the only ones cheering for them.
But apparently we were not the only ones in this world.
The immense pride I felt them picking up 3 different country sets of 12 points and then also finding out that they came second in the semi-final 2 televote.
In a semi-final that they were widely projected not to be participating in, by the way.
I think it became...
not qualifying in.
Yeah, not qualifying in. I think it was just testament to the quality of the song, the transformative nature of the staging. I mean, even the room downstairs, like people weren't necessarily into the song like we were, but everyone said that was an incredible performance. Yeah. So congratulations to Ultimatus. We adore you.
We are absolutely so proud of you. And just the content that they've been putting out as well, they seem like they are everyone's best friends.
And I believe... Latvia's best results since Aminata, though I will double check that.
Yeah, maybe double check that. But yeah, honestly, an absolutely incredible performance from Latvia. Absolutely amazing. And it's so exciting to see them continuing to build on what they've been doing the last couple of years. They're on a 2 qualifier streak now.
They're on a roll.
Which is really, really exciting.
We love to see it.
And we do love to see it. That being said...
Yeah, well, then the other massive highlight for us, I think, was Switzerland's performance.
Absolutely incredible.
Do you want to talk about it?
I would love to. Hi, Zoe. You don't know me, but I know you intimately in my heart. The performance on the night, now that we've actually seen the full performance and haven't had it half cut off by camera issues, what an absolutely spectacular performance that genuinely
to not have the camera issues really I think helped it.
That genuinely felt like it was probably going to fight out Austria for the jury vote in a way that we hadn't expected.
I thought we were going to see a lot of 12s for Switzerland there. The cinematography, the ending of like just seeing the audience and all those glowing lights in front of her.
It's just incredible.
Vocally impeccable. Everyone in the room watching for us was also absolutely
jaw dropped
by that. Yeah.
They were also equally shocked.
So yeah, also equally shocked by the fact that they also got 0 televote points.
Absolute crumbs.
The biggest discrepancy between a jury and a televote ever.
Oh, well.
Not shocking by that, but just another fun fact. Another record broken. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really good transition point because... Let's talk about some of the other shocks of the night. Because 0 telephone vote points for Switzerland is criminal. Jail.
I'll lead with that. That was my prison, honey. That was my shock of the night. Like, what?
What the hell just happened?
Yeah, what the hell just happened? But yeah, I mean, they also got no votes.
Yeah,
but like at least when that happened, you were like, oh yeah, look, that checks out. But Switzerland getting 0. Look, I understand it maybe not being everyone's cup of tea and not getting a massive amount of points from the public, but 0.
Yeah. That was a moment. She created a moment on stage.
Watching?
I think there's a lot of anti-host nation sentiment too. Of like, we don't want a winner 2 times in a row, so we won't vote for it. Which. And I don't really care if the same country wins twice in a row, espespecially
if they're sending the best song.
Fantastic songs.
Exactly. Like, I think it's actually incredibly disappointing for me because I think that there always tends to be a little bit of like a... I mean, God knows the Swiss have money, so they probably weren't bloody worried about it. But I think that there's a lot of times it's like a little bit of a... We'll send someone who's good, but okay, because we kind of don't want to host 2 years in a row because it gets really spenny.
Yeah.
But Switzerland said, nah. Like, no, we're going to send absolute premium quality again. And to get donuts.
Yeah.
Disappointing.
Sad. Disappointed. I want to talk about some of the other results that we were surprised by how low they were. I actually want to start with Sweden. We thought that they would be the runaway televote winner and we were sitting there as the jury points were the most split we had seen in years, right? Like the last 2 years, we saw Loreen and Nemo both just get endless 12s from the jury.
Yeah.
Most split I had seen it in years made me go, Sweden's winning this thing.
Yeah.
Their televote score is just going to like skyrocket them up.
Yeah.
And then they got 100 and something?
174, I want to say. Don't ask me why.
Not that many, exactly. So that's crazy that they didn't even beat Espresso Macchiato in televote points, which I think is something to really consider as well, is that, yes, the fan favorite by a country mile, 40% in the bookies odds to win at one point, ended up kind of not even resonating that as highly with the jury as we thought they would. Not the jury, the televote.
I think just as a broader piece, wanting to talk about how kind of messed up this year felt. Like, it felt like
nothing's real. The bookies odds are all completely fabricated, and the public will do what the public will do.
Just the way that no one had any idea of what was going on. Like, I don't think we've ever seen a year with as much of a split between like
what the bubble was saying, what the experts were saying, versus what actually happened. I think this is this year felt very disconnected.
The bubble always has an opinion.
Yeah.
But usually the bubble's opinion, there's usually like one or two like stands that'll get through that'll be like this country's going to kill, and then they come like 14. But I don't think I've ever seen a year that's been so disconnected between like what my Eurovision scoreboard and what the bookies odds were predicting as winners were so far.
I mean,
distant.
to tell you how disparate it all is, Austria's winning score of 436 is very low for a winner.
Yeah.
And I believe I heard this on Twitter or somewhere that wouldn't have even gotten them a top 3 placement last year or the year before.
No, it wouldn't.
Because the televote was so concentrated and the jury was so concentrated.
Yeah.
So the split has meant that like a relatively low score has won the contest. I also just want to say, Sweden, keep doing what you're doing with Kai, A, but B, people talking like Sweden was a disappointment. We're saying it was a shock that they didn't win. They still came 4th. They still came 3rd in the televote.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, I think that Sweden's the only country in the world who you'd be talking about a disappointing result coming 4th. So I think let's use a bit of context and a bit of like rationality when critiquing Sweden and say they had an incredible result and they will continue to do incredibly well. And I think that this is still going to be a good motivator that Sweden should send songs in Swedish and a bit more interesting.
Yeah.
So good on you, Sweden. Do we want to talk about our winner though? Our diva, our girl, the one and only Erika Wickman. If you watched us, you know that we thought that she had the potential to win. Her stage package was there. Her song was there.
Callum, just while I'm looking down the camera, if you just want to do a little bit of clown makeup, just on either of us, sad clown. God, we were wrong.
Oh yeah,
and that's okay.
My thought was that she could be a shock winner if the televote and the jury got around her. What I was not expecting was neither the televote or the jury to get around her. So she ended up coming 11th in the jury and 9th in the televote, which I was a bit shocked by. I think it's representing maybe the slightly more, I don't know if it's like
it seems like there's an appetite shift.
And we'll talk about that. But I think for us, Erika's final performance, I looked at Nick and I said, that's a winning performance.
Yeah.
She didn't have, obviously, any technical malfunctions, which meant that she could command the stage. Her confidence just kept building and building on each performance. The end of the song shook the room. But the indicators were there because of the 15 people who were in our group. Nick and I were really the only 2 who were like her biggest fans. Granted, our friendship group... we're probably the ones who like the most camp things of our friends, and so there was people didn't like how loud it was. But if it's giving you a taste of like that's say an average audience, it also shows you that maybe people were off put by the brashness of Erika. I hate that maybe like women can't go up and be like loud and brash and sexual and whatever in the same way that it feels like men are heralded for and have been heralded as like heroes of Eurovision of the last couple of years for doing what Erika tried to do this year, but
not even from a different country.
And that is not obviously...
No, we love Karia.
Obsessed with Karia. Just don't come for us or say, we're not throwing shade at Karia. We're literally just saying Karia was heralded.
We love that Karia was able to do what Karia was able to do and receive the support that Karia was able to receive. But
why not for Erica?
Yeah.
And Karia and Baby Lasagna is into the lack. Like maybe the best part of the night. But anyway, let's move. Thank you for your service, Erica. Yeah. You have gained 2 huge fans in us. We'll be following your music
for life, Cicciolino.
Come to Australia so we can see you live,
please.
I think I'll just quickly brush upon the other girlies who got paid a bit of dust. Malta and Denmark. I didn't think that they'd be touching the heights of Eurovision this year.
Denmark is less surprising. Malta is violently surprising.
The reason I want to bring up Malta and Denmark is I thought they would get a bit more televote support. Yeah. I thought that they would not get paid much by a jury, and think we were right. But I wasn't expecting Denmark to get the 3rd lowest televote score of the night, and for Malta to not really do that much better.
For Malta to get the 4th worst televote score of the night.
And there's for an event that, let's be honest, is very focused towards an LGBTQIA plus community and likes maximalism and likes things to be a bit over the top. I'm surprised that these songs were so poorly received.
This was a year for the quiet gays.
This was a year. I think this was just a year for. I hate to use the word, but maybe more of a focus on a good song as opposed to a good production, if that makes sense.
I get you.
Yes.
Yeah, I get you.
And I think we see it with Ukraine. Ukraine will consistently send quality songs that do extremely well, and Ukraine coming 9th this year with an extremely healthy score. Again, because they just sent a fantastic song.
Yeah.
It didn't have to be bells and whistles.
No, people resonated with it.
Honestly, I'd say the same thing can be said about Greece. Doing extreme. I think if we're going to talk about big winners of the night, I would say Greece, Italy, and Estonia kind of exceeding expectations.
Yeah, Estonia well and truly exceeded my expectations, because we knew that there were big fans of Tommy Cash out there, but I think that even seeing some of the reactions in our room for people and friends of ours who we normally wouldn't think would like that sort of music just found it very charming and charismatic. And
but it split the room. I'd say just as many people in the room hated it too. So. But I think that it's interesting. I think Estonia, Tommy Cash got maybe the support that we thought Kai would have gotten. I think Tommy Cash may have taken a lot of that televote love away from Kai. And then just quickly on Italy, I wasn't expecting Italy to get 5th this year. I didn't think it would do badly. I just thought that
this would be a 10 to 15.
Yeah.
Because it's Italy, so Italy will always do well. And the song is excellent. But just wasn't expecting it to do as well as it did. But again, it's coming back to those sort of
people wanting more mellow quality over pomp and circumstance.
Yeah.
Look, I hate to say that because I do think pomp and circumstance can be quality. I don't think the two are mutually exclusive.
Exactly.
But if you're not going for gym balls and fans, maybe Italy was the perfect balm to that.
This felt like a year for the slower pace.
A year for the beachy girls.
Yeah, I feel like we've seen Eurovision in the last couple of years sort of accelerating in pace, and winners are getting faster and faster and doofier and more electro, more party. So it's kind of it's very interesting, but it's kind of fun to see it change pace again.
Even though ironically our winner does have a full doof party breakdown at the end.
We can still love it. Obviously it just doesn't mean that the public does. And you know what? That's Eurovision, baby.
And then quickly, I'll quickly just also say Netherlands and France, 2 other people in winning contention, really surprisingly. France got a pretty good jury score.
Yeah.
But both of them getting paid kind of dust in a televote. And ironically, both being kind of the more mellowy.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Nothing's real. Nothing's consistent.
And I think this is kind of the, not issue, but I think this is kind of the confusion that I have about this year, is that it feels like it's okay, so we wanted to go in a slightly slower lane this year, but then only sometimes and only in certain circumstances.
Yeah.
So it was just all very unexpected.
You could not, I think if you were to look at just the numbers of the scores, you could not distill kind of a learning from it.
Yeah.
You would not be able to be okay, this year favored this, because everywhere you would look at, there's a contradiction. And I get that you could put 2 ballads up and one comes first, one comes last, because one ballad's not as good as the other.
But poor Jimmy Joker Thornfeld, he's going to be absolutely racking his brain about what to write next time. What's he going to write next year? Because he's got no clue. Does he write fast? Does he write slow?
If you want to win Eurovision, get Teya on your team.
Yeah.
And Sergio Hayen.
Yeah, I'd imagine that Teya of Teya and Selena, the Austrian representatives in 2023, I imagine that her booking
knocking on her door.
will be very full because that is 2 winners in a row now.
I hope there's a Teya and Selena reunion interval act in Austria next year. That'd be so fun.
Would be. I think they would have to.
And then get Colleen out there too. Anyway.
Would love that.
Would love that.
Start the rave or don't. Maybe she'll do an acoustic version this time. Just really.
No, do you know what I'd love her to do? I'd love her to like play into the technical era. So do a stage performance and like have the lights go out.
Yeah,
or have like a glitch, but she's like, got ya.
Oh, and then she does a costume change.
It glitches. But actually, it was intentional because she's done a full outfit reveal in the glitch.
Love.
Yeah.
No.
Colleen, call us when they call you for next year.
Or call Sergio, I guess.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And maybe we should briefly say that. Sergio Hayen coming through with, Finland, Cyprus, and Austria this year. It's interesting.
Some highs,
some lows. I think he we were worried after Cyprus didn't qualify. They're like, oh no, was he a flash in the pan? But then he's also just won the contest on his second year of being a staging person. So
I think it's
pretty good.
Yeah, I think that if anyone has got a learning from this year, it'll probably be someone like Sergio, where it will be I think he's now found where the line is of where it becomes too much staging and the song is no longer producible by the artist, which I think he'll learn from Cyprus. And then I think that he'll also have a lot to learn from the impact of staging from Austria and Finland as well. So I'm really excited to see, because if Teya's got her booking sheets filled, I'd imagine that Sergio's probably also booked up till 2047.
Learning then. Speaking of learning,
okay,
what have you learnt this year?
Nothing's real. Odds don't mean shit. And also...
We don't know shit.
Yeah, we don't... what have I learned this year? Apparently, fucking nothing. I ain't learned shit. I ain't learned nothing.
We'll be coming back next year to also know nothing.
What do I know? Nothing.
Yeah.
What don't I know? The rest of it.
Yeah.
What have I learned from this year? I genuinely...
I thought you were going to start crying for 2 seconds.
What have I learned this year? I've learned that you can never count your chickens until they hatch. And that sometimes an unmovable object meets an unstoppable force.
Yep.
And whatever happens in the collateral is unknowable.
That was deep. I'm actually crying now.
The European public is wide and varied, and I guess the global audience as well. But the European public in particular, but the global audience is wide and unpredictable and ever changing. And every year there are new people that move into the voting pool and new people that will move out of the voting pool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Special.
That's Eurovision, baby.
Yeah.
Sorry to flog the tagline again and again, but
what have I learned?
What have you learned?
I think for me, I am so drawn to Eurovision because of its maximalist appeal and because it's just such a good, fun time to be the most kind of creative, balls to the wall version of music that is out there. That's what I love about it. It's not necessarily the music I listen to every other day. I mean, it's becoming that as we talk about it every day, but still, that's the joy in it. And my learning is that maybe this year there was a bit of a shift away from that, which is totally fine. Ironically, I still think the winner was very that, but I think from what we saw from some of the results, maybe the general appetite shifting a little bit less so, and that's fine. Music will change, genre will change. I'm hopeful that next year can come back and can maybe end this current era of Eurovision that we're stuck in, where half of the nerves we have are just is the whole contest going to die in this moment right now? I would like to firmly move away from that, and I hope that maybe the Austrian delegation can kind of have a hard conversation with itself, who sponsors Eurovision too, have a hard conversation with them, and just really bring us back to 2023, when we were just having a party, having a crazy party, not to be like a wanker about it, but bring it back to the original meaning of the contest, united by music, and it being about
the songs and not whatever cloud is surrounding it.
I would like to see some pretty big changes next year, and I would like to go into the contest feeling like everyone's there to celebrate. Eurovision also, I think, kind of is inherently political. I'm not one of these people who believes it should be apolitical. I think that's extremely naive. I think especially that will always be political.
Well, the whole contest was created to bring unity to a continent that had just spent decades at war. Well, a lot of time at war over the last few decades and needed to be united by a shared love of music. And it feels like it needs to get
something needs to be shaken up, because the reason I say Eurovision should be political and is political, whether you like it or not, is I would like to see the Eurovision, the EBU, be more direct, be more pointed, be more like, you can and can't do this, instead of this, but we're apolitical and everything's okay. Well, people are actively exploiting that. And also, you're not apolitical. No, they're not. And you never were. And it's okay. But I think, look, there's a whole episode we could do around what we would and wouldn't change. I think to summarize, I'd just say my learnings are that the appetite for music this year was not what I expected. To your point, nothing is real. Everything is made up.
Riga 2027.
Riga 2027, mark our words. But I also think that my learning was the Eurovision preseason's kind of where it's at. I think that I just had so much fun imagining these songs and just playing with them and not having the stakes in them, and all of seeing everyone become friends in the pre-party. And I'm like, that moment, even for us to comment on the pre-season, is like the best. Joy. Like, everything feels so final now. And I think that lots of people talk about, especially in the Eurovision commentator community. Are we part of that? Unclear. Not yet. But especially in the Eurovision commentator community, people are like, oh, you get a Eurovision hangover. There's a come down. Once it's going through the come down right now. Well, it's serotonin gone. Exactly, because you've basically got 6 months of this thing being almost your day in, day out every day. And then all of a sudden, I feel like a toddler that's just had it taken away from me. It's like Christmas. I always say Eurovision's gay Christmas, and it's like a kid on Boxing Day waking up knowing that's no longer Christmas. Christmas Day is the shit day. Yeah, exactly. December is fun, because that's when the Christmas spirit's in the air. That emptiness you feel after you've opened all your presents on Christmas morning, and you're like, oh, that was it. Yeah, for another year. I had me ham and cheese croissant and me glass of orange juice. Exactly. My little brekkie mimosa. Yes, I'd gotten so much adrenaline from the presents and not eating breakfast that I'd thrown up before 7 a.m. I had one mimosa and I was on the floor. Yeah. But no, and I think the learning is, I would just love next year's contest to be one where we're not just fighting this wave of, is the whole thing in danger of being fast? Does anything matter? Because at the end of the day, the televote's sort of irrelevant at this point. And we have to fight it with unfair jury scores. And then we get the whole conversation around, oh, well, if the jury wins, does the audience even matter? And I'm like, that is something fundamentally broken in that. Juries have to save us. But then it means that the fans don't feel like they get a say in the contest. Exactly. And that needs to change. And that's what I hope, maybe naively, for next year. But I don't want to leave it on a bad note. I want to leave it on a happy note, because we might be closing our discussion of Eurovision 2025. But we're not going anywhere. Yeah. You thought we were going to fall asleep for the next 12 months. And you thought you were fucking done with us. Oh, we will be here. We will rave. And we will rave. So we want to do a little bit more of a refined re-ranking of our 2025 songs. Now we have all the information. Exactly. So we're probably going to produce that over the coming weeks. And then after that, I think we have some pretty exciting plans. Yeah. We've sat down and we've said, what do we want to talk about in the off season? We're very aware the algorithm's going to rip us from the golden glow of views. Yeah, I hope that whoever has subscribed to the channel already, I hope you like us, because you're not going to have any new friends joining you anytime soon, because this algorithm is about to die in the ass. But we just want to be here shooting the shit in our corner. Here. Our little corner, we're just going to be like, la 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 la. Come join us. Exactly. Come join us as we're just spinning around like Justina herself and in the corner.
So to build, I guess, a little bit of anticipation, the next time you see us, we will be re-ranking the songs of Eurovision 2025 with all of the information that we now have.
What rose in the ranking, what fell miserably, and what stayed exactly the same.
Exactly. And then we will be, much like Lumo, we will be taking that horse out to pasture, and we will be saying goodbye to Eurovision 2025.
Sending off Eurovision 2025, and then we'll maybe be casting our view over, the other Eurovisions in history.
Because as Callum loves to say every episode, Eurovision may be one day of the year for some of you, but for us, it is a year-round affair.
And if it is your year-round affair too, guys, then please
you're in
subscribe.
The right place.
Please like the video. We need to get better at getting people to subscribe at the beginning of the video, but that's okay.
Just here, ready? Let's just revoice it, and then you can just edit it in.
Okay, what am I revoicing?
Hey guys, don't forget to like and subscribe.
I'm just going to splice that in the very beginning of the video and it just harshly jump cuts into it.
I love that. Yeah. Or do like a little Shutterstock like fade over, I'll have Microsoft PowerPoint.
I'll do a Shutterstock woman eating salad with that voiceover on it.
Perfect.
That'll be it. Just the first 3 seconds of the episode. Thank you so much for watching, guys.
And thanks so much for joining us for this whole season as well.
We made friends.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's been kind of nuts. But we've really enjoyed ourselves.
We've really enjoyed it. Yeah. Well, look, we probably won't be posting as regularly as we have been. We also want to take a little bit of a break from all the stuff that's been going on.
And look, I haven't been to work in 6 weeks. They're wondering where I've been.
So look, we'll probably try and aim to post like once every week or once every 2 weeks potentially.
Yep.
But we're gonna still be here and we're gonna still be talking about it. So stay with us and because
at the end of the day, and I'll say it again, that's Eurovision, baby. Thank you very much for joining us, friends. We'll see you for the next one.
Bye, guys.
Bye.